everything.
There is one way out.
Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Fight the Empire!
Hello and welcome to the Andor Season 1 Live Q&A. I'm your host, Ash Crossan, joined by the wonderful, incomparable Tony Gilroy.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Yes. In anticipation for Season 2, which is coming to Disney Plus on April 22nd, we are going to look back at Season 1, the moments that made us smile, laugh, cry, lots of tears, thank you for that, and then, of course, the moments that gave us so much hope. But that's not all. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have some special guests along the way. Plus, you can ask questions for Tony and maybe some of our special guests. So start submitting them in the comments below. Get it going. We are almost here. We are almost at Season 2. We're looking back at Season 1. It's been some time. It's been some time.
5.5 years.
How
2 years since.
Yeah. So how are you feeling looking back at Season 1 now that we are kind of on the heels of Season 2?
We finished in November, for real. We finished. And there's a lot of people that worked on the show that have been very eager.
Yeah.
Everybody's and now that we're doing press and rolling out, so I'm in touch with everybody, and there's a great number of people that are very eager to have their work seen. So we're into it. We wanna get out there.
Want to get out there. Well, I think one of those eager people might be joining us now. Our first guest is here, and you know and love her. We know and love her as Bix Colleen. The one and only Adria Arjona is joining us.
Oh my God.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Adria.
How are you?
I love your book collection. Look at you.
Seriously.
Thank you. I can't take credit for this. This is my father's.
Oh, okay.
I'm in my father's house, which is probably the worst place to do this. So hopefully you won't hear my family in the background.
Well,
behave.
It looks great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. How excited are you to look back at Season 1 and knowing how close we are to Season 2 at this point?
I can't wait. I'm probably the most eager. I called Tony many times. I'm like, when is the show going to come out? When is it going to come out? I'm just so excited for people to rewatch Season 1 and then watch Season 2. It is astonishing.
Yes.
Yeah,
well,
Mr. Tony.
That's you, the master. Well, why don't we look back before we look ahead? We're going to jump into a clip. This is from Episode 1, Casa, and this is when Cassian visits Bix and needs a favor. The intro. Here we go. Let's take a look.
What?
Friend.
I love that.
The one
I
who
love
buys
that.
your secret friend.
I mean, can you talk about what's kind of going on here? Because this is establishing.
I was trying to remember, Adria. Was this your audition scene?
It was my audition scene.
I think so. Yeah.
Could it be?
Hard.
Go ahead.
The scene that you audition with, there's so much pressure. You're like, oh wait, the dynamics that you sort of have to change. But Diego really made the scene on set so fresh and alive for me. You know, I had already done it.
There's a TAC Corvette coming in this week.
I mean, and from our point of view, the show's point of view, I mean, this is, we want to introduce Ferrix and these. I want a woman who runs her own business, and I don't know if you remember, it's ion conversion nodes and components of great variety is the title of the store, and every one of these stores, every one of these salvage yards in Ferrix has its own business, and she's a boss, She's a boss, and she's taken over the family business, and she's got it all together, and here comes her roachy old boyfriend at his roachiest, right?
I love the scene so much because it's probably one of the only times that you really see her strength. I mean, you see her strength as the season progresses, but that scene is so big. She's such a Ferrixian in that scene. And then from that moment on, things just start happening to her and happening to her and happening to her. So I hold that scene very dear to my heart. It might be one of my favorites.
And it's the scene you audition with, and I always kind of ask people, like, what was your I'm in Star Wars moment? But you're in that scene. There's so much practicality around you. Did you feel that when you stepped onto that set?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We had one day of rehearsal in that space. And I remember, and thank God we had that one day of rehearsal. Because I feel like people don't realize we're really trying to play it cool when we're on those sets. Luke does such an amazing job at creating these worlds and spaces for us that I was just touching every button. I was like a little kid in a playground. I couldn't focus. So I'm really happy we had that rehearsal. So then on the day, I sort of got all of that my Star Wars fan sort of out of the way, and I was able to really be in the world. But it's fascinating just to be in those spaces.
Yeah, Tony, you kind of touched on it, but what was important for you to establish in that scene, given that they did have a history? We don't quite know what it is yet when they're introduced.
Well, you're always looking for scenes to do as many things as they possibly can. This scene is doing a lot of work. It's an introduction scene in the relationship. It establishes all their prior history in a very quiet way. It establishes the MacGuffin of the show, which will be the Starpath unit that's going to go through. The whole saga. It establishes the economics on Ferrix. It just does many things. I do want to shout out, I think the scene for people who are students of directing, I think Toby Haynes really blocked that scene extraordinarily well. It's a tricky scene. It's a tricky scene to block, and you want to get the whole space, and you want to get your money's worth out of that set that we're never going to go back to. And you want to really meet and see these two people, and I think people who go back and watch it, who are people who are fans of directing, I think it's a really good study into what's really cool about Toby.
Absolutely. Let's check out another scene. This one is from episode 3, Reckoning, and this is someone has ratted out Cassian, and Bix finds out it might be someone close to her. Let's have a look.
There's a bunch of corpos looking for Cassian. Wilmot saw them. They're down at Martha's. Oh. What in the name of job has he done this time?
Well, let's just talk about that Adria Arjona. All right?
Yeah.
Because this scene is a very vulnerable scene. It cannot work. I mean, the idea is very fragile. And a lot of discussion. Does he hear? Does he not hear? Where is he? She has to push this scene through. It's all on her. And this is masterful screen acting here right now. She makes this scene work. Look at her, and she's just gonna totally take over. And the moment he sags, it's a truth.
Right.
And this is actor helping writer to the maximum here.
Yeah, he's fantastic here as well. Because,
he's really good, James McArdle.
Yeah, it's like I hate him.
And he's, it's also cool for us that our first betrayal in a show that's about rebellion is really about love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sad, and it's a very sad. I mean, it's not hard to feel bad for Tim.
Yeah.
As much of a moke as he is.
I was really nervous about that scene. That scene scared me a little bit, and again, I think the blocking sort of really helped, and the a million phone calls I did to Tony really helped.
What was the phone call?
I just call him all the time. I'm like, Tony, do you think this is right?
I think my call that night was probably like, I'm looking at it on the page and I think it works. I think you just got to get in the car and drive it home. And it really is. If you watch a scene like that, I mean, a scene like that is really vulnerable. An actor who doesn't commit to the idea of it, the scene's going to be left hanging, and you're picking takes. If you watch, it's very easy. It's a very easy edit on that scene. Mm-hmm. I think you're just killing it there. I watched it last night in the hotel room to get ready. We won't devolve into that. But we've never talked about Sophia Loren, but I was watching going, this is like a Sophia Loren scene when you coming at him, and then that's the highest compliment I can give. I mean, I really feeling it.
Take it, Tony. I'm gonna
really
take it.
Feeling it, yeah.
I mean, Adria, after playing Bix for 2 seasons, there's been, celebrations since the season 1 came out where people are cosplaying as her. People love this character. What does she mean to you?
Oh my God, this character means so much. Not the opportunity of being in Andor, in Star Wars, playing this role. I mean, it really sort of changed my life. I think Tony was one of the first people in this industry to ever sort of believe in me, and he gave me the shot to play Bix, and I had never done anything like this before, and it really challenged me as an actor. So not only do I have a lot of my success to thank for this role, I think I think people saw me in a different way and gave me other opportunities thanks to Bix. I love her so much, and I love everything that she represents. I even have a little tattoo of. Oh my gosh! It's my only character that I tattooed on my body. She means so much to me, and I remember that last day on season 2 on set. It was just I couldn't comprehend that I wasn't gonna be her again, or that I wasn't gonna, portray her or say Tony's words. I'm still wrapping myself around that.
I mean, I know you can't say much, and Tony's sitting right here, but what can fans expect from Bix in season 2?
Oh my God. Oh my God. No,
Oh my
really.
God, that's right.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, we're gonna go for it. Everybody's gonna go for it, but Bix is, man, she has a hard road.
Oh yeah. And I remember when I spoke to Tony, towards the end of or getting close to sort of season 2, I had all these questions, and just about, the last time that you see Bix, she's so down in the gutters. She's completely different to what we first saw her in that first clip that in episode 1. And I was just so curious about how she was sort of going to rebuild or not rebuild, or how these things were going to affect her or not. And everything that I could have expected, it was nothing like that. It was way more complex and way more rich than I think my imagination was able to go to. So I read it and I was very excited to play it. And now I'm just so excited for people to watch it.
I'm so excited. She's been through so much. Let my girl live.
The last thing I'll say is I think, people don't realize when you work on something this long, how much you learn, and even if I always think I've been doing this for a very long time, and she's talking about, but we learned on this show. You just learn because you're working so fast and much, and everything you're doing is getting made. And if your mind is open and you're into it, you're just constantly learning, and you're learning what the actors can do, and you're learning how far you can push. And I think we all had I think it was a very educational experience for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Along with answering your questions from home, which keep submitting those, by the way, I'm going to keep bugging everybody about it. We also have a pre-recorded question. Our first one is from Struggle Nation. Let's see what their question is.
Hey, everyone. Drew, Jamie, and Joe from Struggle Nation.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
And we are massive fans of Andor. Love the show. Season 2, it's a day 1 for us. Can't wait for it. And I did have a question for Tony. I've rewatched the first season multiple times. I'm going to watch it again before the second one hits. And there are so many moments in that show that are completely captivating. There's not a wasted scene, not a wasted line. Every part of it seems carefully constructed for maximum effect. And it shows. But if you had to pick, what would be your favorite moment from season 1? What scene or shot came out exactly how it was in your head when you envisioned it? Out of curiosity.
Hello to Struggle Nation. And we'll be back. I'll be back with you guys soon enough. I'm going to go really weird here. I'm going to go very, very weird, because there's so many things I could choose. And by choosing so many things that are close to each other, I'm going to pick a scene that's a favorite of mine because it makes me feel comfortable when people are watching the show. If you make a movie or you're doing something, if you're a director or writer, when you're watching or screening, there's always a moment where you're like, God, if I can just get to that point, then I know everything will be okay. It's almost like if the actors remember their lines all the way through it. And there's always a scene, and the scene for me is in episode 1 when Cyril and Chief Hines are together. It's Kyle Solar and Rupert Vansittart, and it's the scene where I relax when people are watching the show. I know it's an unusual scene. It's a little bit long and shaggy, but it's so what I wanted the show to be able to do, and it's so flashy in a really cool down way, and that's where I get comfortable watching the show. After that point, I settle in. Okay, I'm in good shape. So I know it's a very random choice, but that's what I'm going with.
I like it. That's fun. Audrey, do you have a favorite moment, shot of the show? I know that's a huge question.
Oh, that's a really hard one, a very hard one to pick. I can tell you one of the things that I really loved filming. It's too hard to pick a shot. I think the torturing scene was one that I really enjoyed filming and digging into. That was probably one of my favorites. And that first scene from episode 1. Those two are my favorite. I had to go with something with Bix because Tony didn't go with someone. from Bix. So I picked.
It would have been. I would have been kind of like. I would have looked like we set it up. No, I don't want to do that.
Well, Audrey, it has been such a pleasure having you, Tony.
We talk all the time, so I'll talk to you soon enough. Read some books, why don't you? Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
Before we say goodbye to you, we have a couple live questions coming in that I want to go to. Let's go to our first one right now. Audria, how do you feel about this being your last time playing Bix? Do you feel nostalgic? Yeah, how are you feeling at this point? Because obviously the fans haven't seen it yet, but you're done playing her.
I'm done playing her, and I think that the nostalgia really hit me when I was at an ADR session, and I finally officially wrapped the whole show. Wrapped filming, wrapped doing ADR. And it hit me, and I stayed in my car, and I gave myself 10 seconds to cry a little, and then all that I've been feeling lately is just excitement. After watching it in ADR, and I've watched certain stuff, and I'm just feeling really excited for people to watch season 2. That's where I'm excited.
Yeah, Tony, anything to add there?
No, go with that.
Go with that. Let's go to another live question here. Audrey, what was your favorite memory working with Diego Luna?
Oof. That's another hard one, because I think Diego is one of the most generous actors that I've ever worked with. I think, you think a scene is going to go a certain way, it's written a certain way, and Diego just escalates it in such a beautiful way. I remember it was in season 2, and there was this really beautiful moment between these two sort of characters, and it was during the writer's strike, and as you can tell, I depend a lot on Mr. Tony Gilroy, and he just sort of stepped up and was the leader that we all needed during that show, while our main leader, we couldn't be in contact with Tony, and watching him just do that was probably one of my favorite moments. I love working with him. So anytime I get to do a scene with Diego, it's a good day.
Do you have a favorite thing about seeing them work together?
Yeah, but it's in season 2, and we can't really talk about it. I mean, the relationship in season, they have a lot of things to do in season 2. I mean, they were kept very far apart in season 1 through all the things that have happened. That won't be the case as we start season 2, and I think anybody who's invested in this relationship will really be rewarded by what's in season 2. Yeah, if you're into this relationship, yeah.
I am.
And what happened? I mean, a bunch of relationships. What happens to ordinary people and their love lives when they're engulfed by war?
Right. Right. Let's go to. I think we have one more live question. Which character besides the one you play do you feel closest to, and why? That's a great question.
Ooh. I think Marva. I think Bix loves Marva and sort of wants to be like her a little bit, and Marva is sort of Bix's hero in my head, just by sort of watching and reading. So I think I would say Marva.
Marva.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Audria, thank you so much for joining us. Any last words about season 2 before we say goodbye for now?
Oh, I'm so scared to say anything, but I'm just really excited for people to watch it. It is, I think Mr. Tony Gilroy and the whole team just really outdid themselves. Season 2. If you liked season 1, get ready for season 2.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again very soon on April 22nd.
Hi, Tony. I'll call you later.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I mean, do you guys? When was the last time you guys saw each other?
We spoke a couple weeks ago. She calls me. She's a world traveler. She's all over the place.
Okay.
You can't pin Audria down. She's in New Zealand. She's in England. She's all over.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite memories from, I mean, I guess we're just talking about this, but directly working with Audria that you can share about how she kind of crafted this character even deeper than maybe you expected?
Well, I will say, I mean, since we talked about that audition, she came in, and you know, we really want to put pressure on people on auditions sometimes, casting the kid and casting, and this is a very important part for us. And she doesn't come with she didn't have a huge long resume, and it's potentially a really large part if we go forward. So we came in and you know, she brought her to London, and it was just so evident right from the just in the room that it was her part, and we gave her the part in the room. And I think what would I say? I think, as I said, how much we learn, you know, and I think that if you're a very, very beautiful woman, and you're perceived in a certain way, maybe you start to believe what other people think of you all the time, and you don't realize how serious you really are. And I think that it took a minute for her to be comfortable with how good she is.
Yeah. And
I think it took some conversations of confidence to be like, man, you don't sweat this stuff now. Go be who you are and be what you are. And I think you could see that in the first season, her graduation into the actor that she is.
Yeah.
The second season is the delivery of all that she, you know. But it's fascinating to watch people grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of another powerhouse, we have another guest joining us, and she is one of my faves and also a fave of the Forming Rebellion. We have Mon Mothma herself, Genevieve O'Reilly. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hello, Jen.
Gosh.
Hi.
How has it been for you looking back at season 1? It's been a few years. We're going into season 2. How are you feeling?
Yeah, you know, I went back and watched a bit, and gosh, it's good. It's great to watch it again, having filmed season 2, and to go back. And I think it'll be a great thing for people to watch in the lead up to season 2. It lays so much. There's so much depth within it. And it enlightens season 2 for me, actually.
I remember when it was announced that you were coming into Andor, being so excited, of course, that you're stepping back into this role. What has it been like for you playing Mon Mothma at so many different kind of steps and stages of her life, where you keep uncovering more and more about this person that was ultimately like very mysterious for us at the beginning when we first meet her?
Yeah, and mysterious to me. I think Andor has revealed her to me in a way that I never had access to before. And I think she was always such a pillar of a figure, such an important, vital pillar, really, within the history and within the architecture of the piece previously. But I think what Andor reveals is a really textured, complicated woman, and the joy I have found in playing her and discovering that through Tony's writing.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at one of those moments from season 1 with Mon Mothma. We have episode 7 announcement, and this is where we get a glimpse of a private discussion between Mon Mothma and Luthen. I love their dynamic. Let's take a look.
Has anyone ever made a weapon that wasn't used? The network's been built. It's up.
This gallery is amazing.
This is my second favorite set in the whole show. We beat the hell out of this set. There's Clay listening. I mean, this scene is about a revolutionary tactician who's an accelerationist. That's the term of art for a rebel leader or a leader who wants to make things worse to provoke change. And this is a classic accelerationist scene. the key line of the scene is there will be no rules going forward, and
You're not angry.
and there certainly will be no rules going forward. You're watching someone who's trapped here. She's essentially being blackmailed.
Right.
She has no alternative. He knows it, and the handcuffs are on her, and it's I mean, if you think of all of the binding and all of the shackles that Mon Mothma has to accumulate during season 1 and then in season 2, same again. I mean, it's amazing that she can move by the time we get to where we need to go. And she's had to do that. Her character has to do everything in public. So, I mean, Genevieve has to give a performance where she's always doing something, but then she's always worried about other people seeing what she's doing. So she's half the time she's covering up what she's doing. It's really anyway. There's more to be said, but it's all in season 2.
Yeah. So much you can't say.
I can't say. No, I can't say. No, I'm monitoring myself as I'm speaking.
Well, let's take a look at another one, and this one we could definitely talk about. This one's from episode 10, One Way Out, and this is Mon Mothma being approached with a proposal that she's not very comfortable with. Let's check it out.
This is a charitable fund we're establishing.
So I've been
May I
told.
say, she looks iconic.
Well, this is where you realize how she does her job. If there's been any doubts about her as a boss or any doubts about her as a senator or a person of power, it's vanquished here. I also want to just say this is just
I insist.
This is just a writer's dream. This is an acting menage a trois that you could write for endlessly with. Hail Richard Delane, hail Ben Miles, hail Genevieve O'Reilly. This is just, what a gas to write for these three.
Genevieve, what do you remember about, what sticks out to you when you're watching the scene back, and what do you remember about filming it?
I remember the excitement of getting the opportunity to film it. It's such a juicy scene. You really don't get that in television. The amount of pages, the amount of that's revealed, and kind of like what Tony was for, what you have to reveal and what you have to hide all at once is the trick. Right? That's my job at hand, and just the dexterity of that is such a gift to give an actor, to be able to trust me with that, to be there's no movement, there's nothing to hide behind. Look, that's just face, like it's really relying on the actors and the connection between the actors and the interplay with the actors, and that is rare and rarefied, and it is a sheer joy to receive and to be trusted with and then to play.
I also got to say, that's an incredibly important scene carrying forward into season 2, number 1. That scene is, there's a lot of, and then I'll also say, it's late in the show, and I'm being really greedy.
Bringing in new guys.
I'm bringing in, like, Zana, I'm bringing in another actor. I need another character. I need Gustavo Sculdo. And we have Richard. So all of a sudden, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be trimming and staying in my lane, but it's like, wow, I really could use this guy, and it's so great. It's such a great idea, and let's do this thing. And we have Richard Delane. And then if you pick up a theme on this, from this, we've been making the show for so long, and you hear us talk about how people change and how it morphs, and it's such an evolving thing, a show like this. All of a sudden, that's a new color. That's having Richard there, and what we can do with Richard in the second season, what we can do with Ben Miles in the second season. So there's an element of discovery as you're doing it, and opportunities present themselves. But yeah, 3 actors sitting really far apart on purpose. Yeah, keep them far apart. I mean, it's troublesome to direct. No one's going to stand up. And we're going to hold your interest.
Right. Like you're like, how is this going to work? And then it does because of them.
And I will say, it's the idea in the middle of that is just. I remember the night when Beau Willimon, who called me up and goes, "What about the son and daughter?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know. Let me find out if we can do that." But that I'm going to fight very hard for that.
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, you can do that." And I just love that idea.
Right. Well, you mentioned the implications for season 2, and Genevieve, I don't want to put you on the spot in front of Tony, but what excites you most about what we're going to see from Mon Mothma in the second season?
I'm so excited for people to watch it, and I think everything that you've been patient about and everything that you've lent into will reveal something truly, truly special, actually. But for her, I think so much of the first season, she had to hide. She had to be kind of carved in stone. She had to hide a lot, and of course, in order for her to get to where we get to in Rogue One, there are much bigger risks that have to be taken, and she has to step out of the shadows, and the cost and the bravery of, and not just Mon Mothma, what the piece asks of every character is truly dramatic and very delicately and painfully human.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go to another great pre-recorded question here, giving you all at home more time to get those comments in, get those questions in. This one is from Jen Markham. Let's have a look.
Hi, Tony. I'm Jen. I think the writing and dialogue in Andor is fantastic, and I'm also struck by how much costume and design elements, like the wall of gloves on Ferrix, or the boots Narkina 5 prison guards wear, or the moment Luthen transforms himself with the wig and the robe, also contribute so strongly to the storytelling. So I'm wondering, what was the collaboration like between the writers and the production design teams, and how did that help shape the story?
Well, I mean, that's the fundamental creation of this show comes from, I mean, long before I had the writer's room, for months before the writer's room, Luke Hull, who's the production designer, and I worked together to build Ferrix and to learn how to build Ferrix and learn how to make a world and learn how to do all this stuff. And because we realized very early on, and terrifyingly so, oh my God, we've just gotten involved in a show. We're in this little studio here. So I've said television studio interview. We would have to design every single thing about this before we could start writing it. So every single thing has to be done like that. And so it began this sort of infinite experience of collaboration with all of these different people and departments. I'm going to single somebody out here just because it's just so important to me. And I think Genevieve can speak about it as well, just to be one person specifically, which is Michael Wilkinson. And Michael did not get much notice for season 1. I don't care who gets what for anything. I just want Michael. I don't know if there's a singular achievement, a career achievement like this, what he did with the costumes and wardrobe in this show, on the scale, with the variety, with the style, with the innovation, and one of the great beneficiaries of some super dynamite, super dynamite frocks.
Yeah, Genevieve,
just
do you want to
wait till season 2?
I know, but
it's impossible to understand how he could surpass his artistry, but he has. It's breathtaking.
Incredible. And it's like, a lot of times, like, there's like shows and movies where they show somebody at different stages of their life and they have the exact same like hair and it's like we really see Mon Mothma in different looks and stages of her life and where she's at in her like political.
But you know what it's like if you're directing a movie, or you go in and there's all the mood boards and all this, and finally the designs come in and here's the clothes, and if it's a closed show and there's a lot of clothes on it, and it's like that is like the tiniest little corner of a space. We have thousands of people to dress in such an insane variety of ways to do, and they have to be delivered to set, and they have to be wearing that, and then at the same time we have to have innovative clothes to make new worlds, and then we have parties and fetes and all kinds of events where people really need to, where we need to be couture, and like, okay, yeah, well, can you give me couture and then give me Ferrex, and can we have them back to back, and they're going to work Wednesday, Thursday? It's really cool what they pulled off. It's really cool. Hail, Michael.
I also feel I have to shout out to Emma Scott, who headed our hair and makeup team. And those wigs that they created and curated for Mon Mothma are just pieces of genius. I'm not sure I've ever worn wigs. I've worn a lot of wigs in my life on stage, but they are a thing of beauty. And so yes, Luke, our production designer, Michael, our costume designer, and Emma Scott, our hair and makeup designer, they were working at just such an extraordinary level of detail and beauty, and it's all there to drink in season 2 on steroids.
But it's the joy of collab. I mean, it's just a gas to be collaborating with so many amazing people, and you're making stuff that's going to be shot, next week, and so it's real. You're not. It's a maximal imaginative experience. Really was. I mean, I'm missing it now already. Yeah. While we're talking about it, so I'm going to end up crying on this show now. That's what's going to happen. I know. All right.
Thank you, Jen, for that question. Why don't we go to a couple of these live questions we have coming in here? Let's see the first one. What was the most complicated or challenging part of the role of Mon Mothma for you in this season of Andor? Let's go season 1 and 2. I'm not sure which season we're referring to.
Yeah, season 2 drives to some really important work, and I think all that we were working with, and with all the writing, with all those scenes I remember in season 1, I'm just remembering I'm talking to you, there's a scene with Take Homa where she says, I'm not the Mon Mothma you think I am. So she kind of steps forward, and then where we go in season 2, what's revealed about the woman through the writing is very exciting. I think there's moments in there that people will be waiting for, they'll be hoping for, and yet it is, look, just her journey. I'm gonna start crying, Tony. I miss her so much, and I think it's just that this was the most extraordinary, special, uniquely, beautifully collaborative project, and
beautifully said. Yeah. Let's go to another live question. Thank you for that question, by the way. It was great. Genevieve, how did you feel learning Mon married off her daughter for the rebellion?
Well, she hasn't yet. She hasn't yet. In season 1, she hasn't yet. But
it's just a meeting. It's just an introduction.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony spoke before about that conversation with Bo saying, "Can we do this? Can we do this?" And I remember reading that episode in episode 10, going, "We can't do this. We can't do this. Please no."
No, I remember you called me. I remember when you called me, you're like, "Are we really?" Oh yeah, we're doing this.
There's depth there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can be sneaky, but it's looking like there might be a wedding. Yeah.
Looking that way, appearing that way.
Wedding.
If you could write a wedding, you'd want to write a wedding, wouldn't you?
That's a good point. That makes me nervous. Okay, let's go to another live question here. Potentially, there we go. How does Mon's relationship with her daughter affect her character this season?
Again, is that season 1 or season 2?
Well,
Well,
let's
stay with season 1.
Yeah, we're talking about season 1. We're in the season 1 chat.
It was lovely I remember it being revealed to me through the writing. It was lovely to find out that she had a daughter, that she had a family, that she had the intricate complexities of that family. The fact that her mom, who has herself escaped through her work and her life, escaped an orthodoxy, to learn that her daughter then leans into that orthodoxy, that is her choice. Those intergenerational complications or complexities. The relationship with Perrin, the fact that, you have a husband who's allied to the Empire, with Mon working within Empire, funding resistance. That was all it was so revelatory, and it was such a joy to play and to wrestle with and to feel. And like we said before, she's quite constructed because she can't give too much away. But the idea that we went into her home, that we could see a home life, was it really opened her up, and it's such a good platform to work into season 2 and where we go, understanding the woman and all that she has to hold at home.
Yeah.
And anybody who is into the Leda Mon Mothma relationship, there's some more fun for them in the future. Yes, exactly.
There we go. Well, and just on that note, like, what has it been like for you, this character that we really knew so little about, to now have so much depth, but also have the fans embrace her so much? You go to the conventions, people are dressed as Mon Mothma, people come up to you. I mean, what has that meant to you over the last however many years?
Do you know what? I think Tony will understand when I say that I was a little bit nervous. I was a little bit nervous how if people would kind of embrace this version of Mon Mothma, because it is different. And, Tony really took risks in writing her like that. And so, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, because I am so grateful that people hopped on this with us, that people really embraced it and embraced this version of Mon Mothma, this fractured woman. And I love her deeply. It's quite interesting, and I don't really know how I'm going to let her go. So I'm so thankful to the fans for coming with us. And there's so much that I think you're going to love in season 2. So thank you.
That's so beautiful. You're getting me now. We're not supposed to be crying on the stream,
I'm not crying
guys.
now, no.
That's so wonderful.
No, I'm over it.
He's over it.
No, I'm over it.
Well, Genevieve, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure having you and chatting with you. And we cannot wait to see more of Mon Mothma's story in season 2. But we'll say goodbye for now.
Bye, Jen.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Oh, that character. I mean.
I know.
That woman. I love her. Our final guest has arrived. Can you believe we're already to the final guest?
I know. But I'm excited about this because I haven't seen this guy in a while.
Well, he's straight from escaping Narkina 5 and ready to fight. We are joined by Melshi himself.
Duncan.
Mr. Duncan, pal.
Hey, how are
Duncan?
you? How you doing?
All right. Good, man. I'm gonna.
Oh, there's a
I got a surprise for you. I'm gonna just take this off without making
just
noise on my microphone.
Quick
but
wardrobe change for the stream.
I have my Narkina 5 swim team T-shirt on for today, brother. All right.
Oh yeah.
So,
huh?
Yeah. Good to see you.
What do you think of that?
Amazing. I want to know where I can get one.
Yeah.
Click away. Exactly.
A click away. Duncan, good to see you. How exciting has it been for you to add to Melshi's story from Rogue One with Andor Season 1?
It's probably the the biggest thing I think in my career that ever happened to me. You know, it was I've said it many times, and it's such a cliche, but to say it was a dream come true to actually go and visit his whole story, how he met Cassian, and take him from there all the way through to Rogue One, which is where I started. For me was, it was a dream.
Yeah. What excited you most about like you get the call, like, hey, we got an idea for you. What excited you most about expanding Melshi's story?
Being asked to do it, I think, was the thing that excited me the most. Tony gave me a call, I think, just before I was about to travel to go and see some friends in another country, and then COVID happened. So I had this huge burst of excitement that I was going to be doing this amazing thing, and by the time I came back, we had to put it off for a little bit longer. But so I had a long time to be excited, which turned into nerves, and then eventually when we came to do it, it was everything I had wished for, really.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, why don't we check out a clip with Melshi and Cassian. So this is from episode 11, Daughter of Ferrix. They've just escaped from Narkina 5, but find themselves in yet another pickle. Let's take a look.
It looks like it's just these two. They didn't walk here. If we go
What
right.
do you remember?
I was saying, I remember this sequence had more meetings than almost any sequence in the whole film. Oh my God, how we're gonna do it, where we're gonna do it, why we're gonna do it, what's the tone of it, can it really be this funny, are you really gonna make it, you know, and my attitude about it was it should be kind of like Sergio Leone meets the Coen brothers, this sequence. That's really what I want. This is very Sergio here. I love how it turned out. It shouldn't be this good. Right? It should, for all the crap that went into this and all the questions. I love when he takes off.
And was that in the script?
I think, I don't know, but
we couldn't decide, and then I think Ben Karen just said, just get up and start running, and it was.
And you guys run really well and funny at the same time, which is hard to do.
Do you know, the funny thing is, I had torn my meniscus about 3 or 4 weeks before we started filming this, and in the first take running down the hill, I think Diego tore his hamstring, so we were both injured.
Well, you're looking good, and the nets, it makes me laugh. I watched it last night in the hotel. It makes me laugh again every time. I mean, oh my God, the Sturm and Drang that went into that. Really, I mean, all kinds of, were we going to even do it, and where were we going to do it, and who was going to pay for it, and oh my God. Would the nets work? Would the nets? How many nets did we try?
What was that made of?
It was made of I think it was silicone with glue. It was the glue, the stuff that they put on it, and as we were having it put on, they did say, just watch your eyes, but it was fun.
Watch your eyes. Let's look at another clip. This one's from episode 11. This is Melshi and Cassian making a promise to each other. Let's check it out.
You got through? It's okay?
I mean...
Well, this is acting. I mean, this is two really, really strong actors in a scene that's just, the musket is really packed here. And Ben Karen and Damien are finding a way to call back the end of Rogue One in ways I had never anticipated. It wasn't in the script that way. This is even the way they put the horizon line.
It's just us.
I mean, what Duncan's doing here, what Diego's doing here, it's just, I remember watching the dailies. Because I would watch dailies at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting up and having a cup of coffee and watching this and going, oh my God. And I know they're freezing cold. It's very cold. And there's a lot of blown takes here, but these takes that are in here, you're just going, it's what you dream about when you write about something. Can it be this heartbreaking?
Yeah, you had a nice little 5 a.m. cry there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean it's the balance too. Like there's so much uncertainty. It's sad. There's like goodbye. There's hope at the same time.
Like we said before, this scene has a lot to do with what's coming in season 2.
Okay. Here we go.
You were cold that day, I know.
Yeah,
man.
what do you remember about that scene?
It was very cold. It was actually the first thing I shot on Andor, the first season, and it was Blackpool. It was a very cold day, and I remember thinking, I said to Diego at some point, "Can you hear what I'm saying? Because my lips feel like they don't work."
God.
But, it was great.
I know that feeling. We saw a glimpse of Melshi in the trailer for season 2, and you teased also that there will be some implications from this scene. So what can we expect next season? Just putting you on the spot in front of Tony here.
What to expect?
Yeah.
Listen, you'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
You'll have to wait and see. For me, I think season 2 was, for me personally, was a joining up of a journey that I started in 2016 and finished in 2023, and it's I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure if you're a fan, if you've seen season 1, if you're watching for the first time, for me, you'll be blown away by the journey that they take.
Absolutely. And your dynamic with Diego is amazing. What can you just share about that experience of working with him and collaborating on your relationship as characters?
For me, I learned every day that I was on the set with Diego, because just by paying attention and watching everything that he was aware of, for me it was it really made me raise what I thought it meant to be an actor, which was to see it was every level of not just performance, but where to put ourselves, and as well what he gives Diego when you're working with him is for someone like me to come and work with him. It was a gift.
Absolutely. Let's. Why don't we jump into our last pre-recorded question, but maybe not the last question of the stream. Keep submitting those questions in the comments below, and we'll get to as many as we can. Until then, let's jump in to see what Star Wars Explained asked.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alex.
And we're from the YouTube channel Star Wars Explained.
We are so excited for Andor Season 2. We loved Season 1, actually just finished a rewatch of it. Our question for you is, how do you think releasing 3 episodes at a time this season is going to affect how audiences connect with the show?
Great question.
I think that it's really cool for us. It's how we made the show. So for us, it makes sense. We really feel like we made 8 Star Wars films over the last 5.5 years. So we make them in these blocks of 3. So they're being presented to the audience in the sort of digestible frame that we make them. I feel really sorry for all the podcasters. We've talked about this before, because it's like now they gotta it's gonna complicate some people's lives. But I'm assuming that if other people are like I am, and I watch things as randomly as anybody else does. So, I mean, it offers the opportunity to watch any way you want. Mm-hmm. But if you want the movie and you want the whole block and you want to eat it all at once, it's there for you.
Yeah, Tony, I'm sweating about my coverage plans.
I know,
I gotta tell you.
Sorry.
But we love it. We love it. Okay, let's go to a few live questions here. I think we got one coming in. How did you approach playing a younger Melshi, given that he's so different to where we first saw him in Rogue One? I believe that's one for you, Duncan.
Yes. So, well, it was Tony, when we first had the phone call, gave me so much information about who Melshi was, and that really gave me an idea of the backstory from where he was to where he went to. Also, I think it helped that I had hair, which makes me always look a little bit younger. So I put it down to the planning of the hair and makeup, and Tony's writing and his information that he gave me before I went to.
Excellent. All right, let's go to another one. Live questions. Da-da-da. Do you have a theory on why Melshi got put into... Oh, I love this one. Got put into the Narkina 5 prison by the Empire. Sounds like at this point in time it could have been literally anything.
I don't know. Why is he... What's he in for?
I think, the thing I think with Melshi is he's someone that doesn't follow the rules. He doesn't like being told what to do, and he's not a great believer in, for me anyway, the way that I felt him was this idea of the Empire and the way in which everything for him was a refusal to believe what it is that he's told. And so whatever circumstance made him in a situation where someone told him to be or do or say something that he disagreed with, I would imagine would have ended him up in Narkina 5.
It was convicted of skepticism.
Okay. He's got a. Do you know what it is? Do you like?
No, I've been convicted of skepticism
Well,
before,
yeah.
so I understand.
Yeah.
No, but.
All right, let's go to another one. That was a great question. I love it. Duncan, how intense are the scenes in Arkina 5? I mean, there's so much too that has to be conveyed with like just a look. I was thinking about that. Yeah, how intense were those scenes?
Those scenes were probably the most intense 7 weeks I've ever done on anything that I've ever worked on, because we were in the sets themselves were so claustrophobic, and they were the tunnels that we were in, and the fact that you have 100 men in these tunnels with no shoes on, it was an overwhelming environment, and because we were in there with the lights and for the 7 weeks, it felt like being in prison. So the intensity sort of ramped up as we went. In the beginning, when you go in and you see the sets and you see the design and you see everything that the team had built, it was a novelty. But then after about a week or two, it really started to weigh on us. It was oppressive, for sure.
I mean, no shoes, huh?
In August.
No shoes in August. I mean, it's so...
In Pinewood.
I was thinking about, we were talking before this at was it Celebration last year, that everyone was dressed in there was a bunch of people dressed in the Narkina 5 and the One Way Out. It's amazing. It's amazing.
There's no fragrance called Narkina. I don't think anybody's going to come out with a perfume called Narkina.
I don't think it would. It doesn't sound like it would smell very good. I don't know. Duncan would know.
Well, it's not something I would want to go back to.
It's forever. Yeah, that's Narkina.
Yeah, it's forever. Duncan, it has been such a pleasure having you on the stream. Any last final thoughts before we let you go?
Just thank you so much for having me, and I'm so looking forward to seeing season 2. I'm a fan. I have been a fan from when I was a young kid, so I can't wait for April.
We can't either. Well, thank you so much. We will say goodbye for now.
Good to see you, bro.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, one more reminder for everyone at home. You got any questions for Tony? Put them in the comments. We'll get to as many as we can. But we have our final clip right now. And this is from, I'm going to cry, episode 12, Rick's Road. Yeah, get your tissues ready. This clip hits pretty hard because it is Marvo's eulogy speech hollow.
The Empire is a disease that thrives in darkness. It is never more
I said, do we just shut up through this one, you think?
But we didn't.
I just want to listen to it, you know? I just want to listen to her talk.
I mean,
she is.
This is my favorite part of the whole show. This is Ferrex coming together in this incredibly wild, complicated community, and it's our community of the filmmakers, all the different departments. It's everybody contributing everything they have at the same time. Music, stunts, costume, production, the actors, the editing departments. This is everything we have in the bag.
And they kick my boy.
They kick me too, I know. That is, people say, what's your favorite episode? That's my favorite episode because it's just such a showcase for everybody all at once. And the amount of coordination and the amount of work, and I hope we're making the work sound fun. Like, you don't want to be like, oh, we work and we work so hard.
Yeah.
It's not like, it
it's
is that.
payoff.
I mean, a lot of late nights and early mornings and a lot of people, but a happy company is when people really feel that what they're making is arriving, and they're not wasting their time making stuff that isn't seen or shown, and that everything is that you say you're going to get on camera, you get on camera, and that what you're going for, everyone knows they're going for. And that sequence, that's as complicated. We've done some complicated filmmaking over the years. That's as complicated a piece of filmmaking as I've ever been involved in, and. Ben Karen, who directed it, and Damian, who's shooting it, they're piggybacking on what John Gilroy and I have learned on other movies about massive. So we're sort of overlording any help we can give, and then that's filtering down through them, and it's through all the departments. And when it pays off, and it works, and you feel something.
Yeah.
You know, when all the mechanical conversations and all the meetings and everything happens, and finally when all of that leads to something that's emotional, it's I guess that's why we do it. I mean, that's why, you know, it's the fun of doing it.
Yeah, wonderfully said. Let's go to a few of those live questions. Thank you guys so much for submitting those. I think we have. What was the most creatively fulfilling aspect of working on Andor? It might be what you said,
think
but-
I think what I just said. I mean, I got involved with this not knowing what I was doing at all. Once I was in it and it started to reveal itself what it was going to be, I regretted it terribly, and I was terrified of what I had done and ruined my life. When COVID happened and I suddenly thought I had an out, I didn't have to do the show, I would be able to get out of it. But then it began to rebuild, and it began to rebuild in a way that I could at least start to take the kind of control over it that I should have had in the beginning. And we managed to make a system through the whole COVID, the beginnings of COVID and starting to shoot again, where I found what the right job for me on the show was, which was I didn't have time to direct, and to be able to do everything else that I wanted to do. And over time, my anxiety about what we were doing was just completely eroded by the thrill of getting to make all this stuff with all these cool people and have, you know, Disney and Lucasfilm back our play and give us the resources that we needed to do it, and back our, you know, all of our crazy ideas and all the things that we were going to do. And I mean, I grew to love it as it went on. It wasn't a love at first sight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was really, but that's, I hope you feel from the answers that we've all given that we really, we can learn and you can build, and when you feel like you're going for something that might be worth it, maybe it's about something, maybe it's really worth it. You just, I mean, what a great way to spend your time on the planet.
Does going to season 2, like, you know, it's different, like, do you feel like it's senior year, you're more confident, you know exactly
Yeah, we want it, but we also feel like, oh my God, we better not get confident. We better not be smoking our own shit here. We better we better really, holy crap, we put the bar down here and we're gonna get crushed if we don't deliver. We're gonna really, and we've seen, you see all the other shows, you see other shows where people had trouble sticking the landing and you're like, oh my God, we have to so there's a new pressure.
A lot of pressure.
There's
a
new pressure, but but then there's also, you do have the pride of what you did before, and you have a system that works. So we carried that forward. Yeah.
All right, let's go to another live question. Luthen is a morally gray character. What inspiration did you draw from to craft his personality and backstory?
I mean, this is the same as with every character. You know, I think the easiest thing to say is, imagine you just have a pencil and a piece of paper and you're going to start to draw somebody, and you're just going to, your little pieces in you don't like what that looks like, and you erase it and you start over again. And it's really small things. And I needed an organizer. I needed a recruiter. I needed somebody who was at the center of something. I needed a new mysterious character. What would he be like? Well, what's a cool job for that? Oh my God, what if you had a gal? You know, what's the kind of job that gives you access to all kinds of things and also plugs you in and puts you in Coruscant? God, what if he has a gallery? What if he has an antique gallery? And then once, you know, that just leads to all kinds of other things. Well, he needs a sidekick, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And how's he going to do this? And how long has he been doing it? And there's a lot of things about Luthen that I did not know until we started writing season 2. So those things we'll learn a lot about Luthen, who he was before, but we'll also, in season 2, you're going to see a guy who built a startup company in his garage. And, you know, in Aldhani, he goes public, and it's going to be the stress of how do you take your how do you take your little revolution and all the work you've done for 15 years, how do you go public with that, and how do you go large?
Okay.
And that's really the stress. So we're going to watch him under a great deal of stress.
He stresses me out, so there you go. I think we have one more final live question here. For Tony Gilroy, how do you balance the morality of the characters in Andor, especially those like Cyril and Dedra?
I don't balance anything. I don't have a ledger or I'm not. They're who they are. When you're writing any character, you want to be with them. We're all the heroes of our own story.
Right.
We all.
No one believes that.
No, I know, and we're all the victims of our own insecurities, I've never been able to. I don't see the purpose of how you would write a character with an agenda. I want to write this character because I want them to do this thing. You may say, oh, I need somebody who's going to be dark, or like I said, I need a Luthen who's going to be a recruiter and a revolutionary. But with Cyril and Dedra, the same thing. They revealed themselves along the way as you're writing them, and you just want them to be fascinating and truthful. You want to be able to believe that the things that they do and the changes that they make, and season 2 will see all kinds of new stresses on them, that everything is truthful, that if people have been watching all the way from the beginning and invested in it, that they don't feel burned. It's always weird when you see a character and their IQ goes up and down based on what the writer wants them to do. I'm trying to, you want to have it, oh my God, of course that's what you want it to be surprising and inevitable. And and it's a big adventure that all these characters are. I mean, it's an adventure story, really, beyond all the stuff that we talk about, all the complications of character and behavior. In the end, these are a bunch of hopefully really interesting people cast in a really vivid adventure story.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for that question, and thank you all for all of those questions throughout the stream. But we're gonna say goodbye in a second. But we actually have a special message from a surprise guest. Cheeky, who could it be?
Hi Andor fans, thank you so much for tuning in to revisit Season 1. It was such a joy to return as Cassian after Rogue One for the first season of Andor. I'm incredibly grateful for your continued support of this hero's journey. A lot of love went into making this series, and you have no idea what's in store. I can't wait for you to see what happens next in the last season of Andor. Join the rebellion April 22nd on Disney+. May the Force be with you.
Hey!
Wow.
Can't have a show without
Didn't know that was happening.
without Andor himself, Diego. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you to everyone at home for reliving this moments with us, and thank you to our guests, and thank you to Tony Gilroy.
You did a really good job.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I was very nervous
got
about
all over
this.
my pants. Look at that.
I was very nervous about this. All right.
We cannot wait for season 2. Do you have any final thoughts, words, comments?
Man, just you could smell when people are excited to show you something. Mm-hmm. I hope you're feeling it.
I'm definitely feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling
All right.
it. The energy is palpable.
All right.
Oh, well, April 22nd cannot get here fast enough. Until then, let's check out a season 2 featurette, and we'll see you later.
Emergency broadcast, if you can hear me!
We are not who we were when we started.
Imperial ships are already landing.
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot. A soldier.
Everything I did for the rebellion.
Revolutionary movements are spontaneously happening all over the galaxy. How those come together is the stuff of our story.
If season 1 laid the track, then season 2 is the juggernaut.
The Empire cannot win.
Well, they haven't won yet.
We're building a real army.
The rebellion's everywhere now.
Galaxy of opportunities.
The insurgents have weapons at this point.
We're counting on it.
These 12 episodes are going to take us over the next 4 years into Rogue One. The complexity of the show, the possibilities of the show. It has to be all in.
Nobody's allowed in here.
Are you thinking like a thief?
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
size and scale of this production is unparalleled. The sets and the costumes are breathtaking.
Everyone does the homework, everyone takes the time, and you can tell.
Proceed.
This is it. This is what you live for.
It's human, it's incredibly truthful, and it just happens to be in a galaxy far, far away.
It's the urgency of the situation. Not palpable.
Lock it down!
If we do not stand together, we will be crushed.
This is the end. Have no expectations.